there is a war happening right now. Not in the markets, not on your charts, not in the news or in the Fed's next decision. The war is happening inside of you. And most traders, most people, will never win it. Not because they lack strategy, not because they lack capital, but because they never even knew the war existed. Today, we're going to talk about the one battlefield that determines everything in trading. Your mind. Stay with me. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, one of the most powerful men to ever walk this earth, wrote something that traders today desperately need to hear. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. A man who commanded armies, a man who held the fate of nations in his hands. And his greatest wisdom wasn't about power or conquest. It was about the mind. Now, why does that matter to you sitting at your charts? Because every loss you've ever taken, every revenge trade you've ever placed, every account you've ever blown, started not with a bad setup. It started with a bad thought. And here is the dangerous part. Most traders never catch the thought. They only feel the consequence. They see the account balance drop. They feel the shame. They feel the frustration. And then they think that is the problem. But the loss was never the problem. The loss was just the bill. In the thought was the purchase. There is an old Cherokee teaching. Two wolves live inside every person. One wolf is fear, doubt, self-destruction, negative self-talk, impatience. The other wolf is discipline, clarity, patience, self-belief, process. A young warrior asks the elder, "Which wolf wins?" The elder replies simply, "The one you feed." Now I want you to sit with that for a moment, because what you say to yourself, quietly, privately, is in the space between your thoughts. That is what you are feeding. Every time you sit down at your trading desk and whisper to yourself, "I always mess this up," you are feeding the wrong wolf. Every time you blow a trade and tell yourself, "I'm not built for this," you are feeding the wrong wolf. Every time you post your frustration online, looking for someone to validate your pain, you are feeding the wrong wolf. And the market doesn't care. The market is indifferent. It moves without emotion. It has no opinion of you. But your subconscious is listening to every single word. It doesn't filter. It doesn't argue. It doesn't protect you. It simply executes whatever program you install. So what are you installing? Every wound that isn't healed properly leaves scar tissue. And scar tissue is not like regular skin. It's stiff. It's thick. It doesn't stretch. Now think about what happens to a trader who never processes their losses correctly. They take a bad trade. They feel the pain, but instead of sitting with it, learning from it, filing it as data, they attack themselves. "I'm so stupid. Why do I keep doing this? I hate myself." And every time they do that, they lay down another layer of scar tissue over the mind, over the trading instinct, over the ability to pull the trigger with confidence when a clean setup appears. Because here is what no one tells you. Confidence in trading is not built by winning. Confidence is built by how you handle losing. The trader who takes a loss, closes the platform, journals the trade calmly, and returns the next day with a clear mind. That trader is building elastic skin, flexible, resilient, adaptive. But the trader who takes a loss, berates themselves, revenge trades, then vents on social media before going to sleep angry, they are building scar tissue. And layer by layer, that scar tissue will eventually cost them everything. Not because they didn't know how to trade, but because they didn't know how to fall. In 1968, the Olympics were held in Mexico City. A marathon runner from Tanzania, a John Stephen Akwari, fell during the race. Badly, his knee was dislocated. His shoulder was injured. Every other injured runner had withdrawn. But Akwari kept running. He finished last. And over an hour after the winner had already crossed the line, the stadium was nearly empty. A journalist asked him afterwards, "Why didn't you stop?" And Akwari said something that will stay with me forever. He said, "My country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me to finish it." Now I'm going to ask you something honestly. When you opened your first trading account, what did you come here to do? To start or to finish? Because the market will test that answer. Repeatedly. It will dislocate your confidence. It will injure your discipline. It will leave you limping in an empty stadium, wondering if any of it is worth it. And in that moment, the only thing that matters is what you say to yourself. Not what the chart says, not what your account balance says, what you say to you. Epictetus was a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave. He had no freedom, no wealth, no power over his circumstances, but he taught something radical. He said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He wasn't talking about toxic positivity. He wasn't telling you to smile through your losses and pretend everything is fine. He was talking about ownership, the ownership of your inner world. Because here is what the most successful traders in the world understand, that most never will. You cannot control the market. You cannot control the spread. You cannot control liquidity, news events, or what the institutions are doing. The only thing you can control is how you speak to yourself before, during, and after each trade. And that alone will determine whether you survive this game. So here is your practice, starting today. Every time a negative thought about your trading appears, don't fight it, don't suppress it, acknowledge it, then replace it. I always mess this up becomes, I am still learning, and every mistake is teaching me something I needed to know. I'm never going to make it becomes, I haven't made it yet, and yet means it's still coming. I hate myself for this trade becomes, I made a human decision. I will study it, learn from it, and I will not repeat it. This is not weakness. This is the hardest discipline in trading, harder than finding the right entry, harder than managing risk. Controlling the voice inside your own head is the final boss of trading. Why? And most people quit before they even reach it. Trading is not a sprint. Let me say that again. Because modern culture has poisoned people into thinking everything should happen fast. Trading is not a sprint. It is the longest, most patient, most demanding game of psychological endurance a human being can play with money. The traders who win, they are not the most intelligent. They are not the luckiest. They are not the ones with the most complex strategy. Why? They are the ones who simply didn't stop. They fell and got up. They lost and came back. They doubted and kept showing up anyway. Not because they were fearless, but because they understood that the fear is part of it. The discomfort is part of it. The uncertainty is the entire game. And instead of running from it, they train themselves to sit inside it, calm, still, like a mountain in a storm. I want to leave you with this. Every single morning, up before you touch a chart, sit in silence for 2 minutes, not to predict the market, not to check your phone, not to calculate your potential profit. Just sit and remind yourself of 3 things. 1, I am here to learn, not to prove anything. 2, my losses do not define me. My response to my losses defines me. 3, the version of me that wins in this market is being built today, in this moment, through this discipline. Then open your charts, do your analysis, and follow your process. And when the day is done, whether you won or lost, close the platform. Walk away with your mind intact, because the market will be there tomorrow. The question is, will you?